Hi friends, I'm Caro. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to a bookshelf tour. This could quite possibly be the first of many bookshelf tours. Today I'm just going to show you the children's books in my collection, well, almost all of them. So grab yourself a cuppa, settle in, let's look at some books. So I haven't moved. I'm currently sitting in the pink chair. In my study, of course. And this is my view. This is often my view when I am filming a chatty video. Clark's always in the study with me if I'm in here. But if I'm talking a lot, then he will keep his bed there. And if I'm filming a reading vlog, he usually comes over to sit with me in the chair, but can be appeased by having his bed moved at my feet, and then he'll settle down there. He's so cute. So this right across the room is the bookcase that we will be looking at today. And then this is the bookcase that is on my right when I'm sitting in the pink chair, which is right here. And I've got some Patty Fairfield books by Carolyn Wells at the top. I might show you those in a minute. And then on this book cart, which is right next to the Nancy Drew bookcase, I've got mysteries and stuff on the lower shelves, but the top shelf is my Girls Gone By collection and my Enid Blyton Famous Five books. So this is just to let you scan the bookcase we'll be talking about today, going through with my Care Bear collection and some of my toys from my childhood. I've got a step ladder here so I can get up to the top shelf. Okay, this is so awkward. Okay, so on this top shelf, I've got spillover Nancy Drew books. And I'm not sure how well you can see these. I've got Target for Terror and Dangerous Games, which are both Nancy Drew Hardy Boys super mysteries, as they're called. They were like spin-offs of the Nancy Drew files. Yeah, so they're like, I think those were published in the 90s. If I might be getting that wrong. They might have been the early 2000s too. And then the one down from that, this one right here, is a Nancy Drew on Campus, which is a new to me series. I saw it, well, I knew that it existed because I'm a Nancy Drew geek, but I saw it in a secondhand bookstore and like could not help myself. So I'm going to give it a try. I think I've got like the last book in the series there. But I just figured like Snowbound, it's got to not be too bad, right? I love everything that's winter. And I'm going to get these two down so that you can see. These are the Nancy Drew Hardy Boys Super Mysteries that I just showed. And this is a Nancy Drew on Campus. Yeah, so I think the Nancy Drew on Campus series, if I'm remembering correctly, is not so much a mystery series as almost more of like a Sweet Valley High, you know, like more focused on romance than on mystery. Yeah, so I'm not sure how they might be awful. It might be awful. It might be awful in a good way. Hopefully it's not awful in a bad way. I will let you know if I get to it or when I get to it. And continuing down, we've got Counterfeit Christmas, which I would love to be able to get to this December because that's a new one too. Actually, I saw most of these at my local secondhand bookstore, and I kept going back for more. Like I just couldn't help myself. I was like, oh my goodness, because the Nancy Drew files are one of the series of Nancy Drew books that I read when I was, a child and in my early teens. because they came out when I was that age. So they're pretty bad, but they're nostalgic for me. And of course, the Nancy Drew mystery stories. I think it was number 57 on that they came out in the soft cover. Like they didn't have the publisher wasn't basically for legal reasons was not allowed to do hardcover books. It was just paperbacks that they were allowed to make for Nancy Drew. So yeah, I've got the Flying Saucer Mystery. What is that? Enemy Match. The Mysterious Image. The Eskimo Secret. That's been well loved because I've had that since I was a child. It was the only one of the paperback ones that I actually owned when I was a kid. And then the rest of these Nancy Drew files that I was talking about before I got distracted. Murder on Ice, Smile and Say Murder, 2 Points to Murder, The Final Scene, Trail of Lies, and Danger on Parade. Okay, so I just pulled these down because I can't help myself. I have to show you. Yeah, so these are those large format paperbacks of the Nancy Drew Nancy Drew mystery stories. And as I said, the Eskimo Secret has been well loved. Like, I mean, there's even an ink stain. It's pretty bad. Okay, and then the Nancy Drew files. Murder on Ice, Smile and Say Murder, 2 Points to Murder, The Final Scene, Trail of Lies. I picked that one up because it's snowy. Danger on Parade, and Counterfeit Christmas. Which, that cover. I mean, all of the covers. They're just of a time, aren't they? Okay, next up are these pony books. And some Paddington, which are all on the top shelf. And I've set a dangerous precedent, so now I feel like I have to take these down too because they've got such great covers. Okay, so this is a box set, which I saw, again, like I said, I saw at the secondhand bookstore and was like, oh my goodness, I basically was like, I love these covers. I have to. I didn't get it because I have trouble buying things impulsively, which I guess is a good thing because, usually when people say they have trouble buying things impulsively, they mean because they just do it. I put too much thought into it. So I didn't get them. And then the next, honestly, it was 2 days later, I saw a post by Pony Books on Instagram, and Liz was showing off her collection of these for Pony Books Monday. And I was like, okay, well, I need them. That's a sign that I need those books. And I went back and they were still there, which was great because I was so scared. But look at these. So they're by Pat Johnson and Barbara Ventoul. Sorry, Barbara. That's probably wrong. And they're not all co-written. Some of them are just by Barbara. Because now we're on a first name basis, even though I can't pronounce her last name. But aren't they gorgeous? I love the colors. I love the vibe. And I can't wait to read them. These are the Paddington books, as you can see. They're by Michael Bond. I love the Dell paperbacks. I think they're so cute. And I have my, of course, darling friend Gina to thank for these. Yeah, she knew how much I like Paddington. I used to watch it was a live action stop motion. There we go. Stop motion animation. What's it called? TV show when I was a kid. And I loved it so much. I was obsessed with talking teddy bears. There was this, I think it was Snuggle. I can't remember. Oh, Downy, maybe? It might have been Downy that did the fabric softener company that had a bear as their, like a teddy bear as their mascot. And the commercials where it talked, I remember saying to my mom, like, I want one of those. And she was like, what are you talking? Like, she was so confused because it was a commercial for fabric softener. And she said, oh, like, she realized what I'm talking about, the teddy bear. And I said, I want one. And I remember her saying, oh, sweetie, it's not real. And realizing, like, it's just such an odd memory because it's like, I still have it, but it's also, I remember being confused. Like, what do you mean it's not real? I'm looking at it. Like, I'm looking at a teddy bear that's talking. What do you mean it's not real? How can it, like, I just didn't trust what she was saying. Which is so interesting, like, that these commercials, like, you think about how impressionable children are. And, like, this is such a, not, like, not damaging thing, but, like, in other ways, children are so impressionable. And yeah, the power of marketing. I still want a teddy bear that talks. The next up is Trixie Belden. These are just the paperbacks that I've got. This is The Mystery of the Phantom Grasshopper. And my sister had these editions when we were little. And of course, because my older sister liked them, I never read them. And I wish I had, because I think Trixie Belden, I'm willing to bet that I would have liked her more than Nancy Drew even, because she's outdoorsy, and I was very much an outdoorsy kid. And kind of I'm still an outdoorsy adult. And Castaway Christmas by Margaret J. Baker. This is such a lovely Christmas book. A group of children go to meet their parents for the Christmas holidays. They're leaving, school's out, and they travel together. Of course, where they show up is a flood, and their parents don't appear, and they basically have to survive in flood conditions over the holidays. And it is so good. If you like an adventure story, and a cozy read, this is it. It's so good. And I would love to one day have a hardcover with a dust wrapper of this one, because that's how much I like it. The next one is Carrie's War by Nina Bodden. Got Princess of the Chalet School by Eleanor and Brent Dyer. A lot of these Armada paperbacks of the Chalet School series were abridged. I'm not sure if that one is. I haven't read it yet. It's just that one and this one are two that I found secondhand at that bookstore that I mentioned. Caddy Woodlawn. I haven't read this one either. I'm sensing a theme. And also, like, what I was saying about trying to, like, get a collection together that, like, I love and is meaningful to me, and just the favorites, and trying to, like, I hate using this word without it meaning art, but curate a collection that's important to me. I think, like, all bets are off with children's books. I have such a weakness for vintage covers. This one is the first in the Dark is Rising series, or is it called the Dark is Rising sequence? I think that's it. Over Sea, Under Stone by, and the entire series, of course, is by Susan Cooper. That is one that I'm just going to hold it here because this is such an awkward angle for me. This is one that was gifted to me by my friend Mary. She is Mary Keenan Writes on Instagram. I'm going to link her in the description box below because she writes just the best captions on her Instagram posts. She's so clearly a writer. So she gifted this to me over the summer, and I have to show you. So she gifted this book to me with this bookmark that she painted herself to match, and with 3 Taylors of Harrogate tea bags in various flavors, so that I could drink tea and read this book on a summer afternoon or a summer day. And I did that, and it was just perfect. I loved this book so much. I cannot tell you. It was the perfect summer read. Like I was saying about Castaway Christmas, like if you like children's adventure stories and you don't mind them being a bit magical, this series is so good. I'm sure like almost everyone knows about it, but I just loved it so much. Okay, so the rest of the series that I have is I've got The Dark is Rising, and yes, I wish I had them all in the puffin, but I don't. I found these secondhand, and they were a steal. And I'm still missing one. And then Thimble Summer by Elizabeth Enright. That was for my friend Gina. And then we've got a few Antonia Forrest books. I've talked about her before. I just love her writing so much. This is Autumn Term. I've got End of Term and Peter's Room and Heartwood Hotel, A True Home by Callie George and illustrated by Stephanie Gregan. I hope that's right. This was really, really sweet. I keep meaning to read the rest of the books in the series. And then I've got Elizabeth Googe, The Little White Horse, The White Witch, again by Elizabeth Googe, both from my friend Gina, who has overstocked my shelves. Stormy Misty's Full by Marguerite Henry. I loved this book. It's another good one if you like floods in books, which apparently I do. Apparently I'm addicted to floods in books, especially children's books. Strawberry Girl by Lois Lenski. Isn't that a great cover? I love that cover. And then we've got these C.S. Lewis books, which I'm just going to take down. So these are all the Chronicles of Narnia in these vintage paperbacks, which are just so of a time, aren't they? These were another set of books from my friend Gina. She had 2 sets. Aren't they great? I love them. I am really looking forward to reading through the series, which I'm hoping to do this winter. Starting, of course, with this. I've read this one before. Obviously, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, which is a great one for this time of year, I think. I mean, it's not quite Christmassy, but it's definitely, around this time of year is a good time for it. Narnia, where the White Witch rules, and it's always winter but never Christmas. Okay, Clark is whining, so just give me 1 second. What's up? What do you need? Out? Okay, let's go. Come on. Come follow me. And we're back. So next we've got 2 by Maud Hart Lovelace, Heaven to Betsy, and Betsy in Spite of Herself. Again, these are 2 from Gina. Actually, these ones are as well. I love these books. These are actually the only 2 of the series that I've read. I just love them so much. Like I keep meaning to get the rest of the books in the series because I really want to read them. But I have so many unread children's books that I've been hesitant to acquire more. This is Celia's Lighthouse by Anne Malloy. This comes highly recommended by Gina. And if I'm recalling correctly, she said it was a winter book. So I should really get on that. Sweet Valley High, Malibu Summer, and Sweet Valley High Winter Carnival. I have to admit that I read these books when I was a child, and when Gina mentioned that she had a couple in her collection she didn't want, or I think she had doubles, I snapped those up quick. And I read this one maybe last winter, and it is bonkers. It is absolutely crazy. I can't believe I read these books when I was like, it's just, I'm surprised I'm not an absolute idiot. They're so fun though. I mean, I had great fun when I was reading them then. They just don't age well. Tom's Midnight Garden by Pippa Pierce. Another one that I really want to read. And then The Fur Person by May Sarton. I'm not sure if this is a children's book. Somehow it has wound up on this shelf. And then some Snoopy books, which I'm just going to take down. So I spotted these at a library book sale, and obviously they were selling them for like pennies, and I just could not help myself. I don't know anything about them. I assume they're just the Snoopy cartoons, but I love Snoopy so much, and Charlie Brown, of course. So yeah, so I snapped them up, with my husband laughing at me, of course, and reminding me that there's only so much bookish real estate that we have at home. And no, I have not read any of them yet. The next one is I Capture the Castle by Dodie Smith. I love this book so much. It's so good. It's just like the most lovely coming of age story. I cannot recommend it enough if you have not read it. And it has just like the best first line. I write this sitting in the kitchen sink. I mean, that is a good first line. And it's all in first person by, right, Cassandra Mortmain. It's her diary. She does a lot of writing. Every time I look at this book, I think, oh, I could do with a reread. Okay, next we have a Mildred A. Wirt Benson book that should be on the other shelf, but it's here because it's a paperback. It is Tale of the Witch Doll, and it's part of the Penny Parker mystery series. I love this series. If you are a Nancy Drew fan and you haven't tried the Penny Parker series, you should. Penny is a, let's say, part-time reporter. Her father owns a newspaper, and she solves mysteries, and she's everything I wish that Nancy Drew was. She's so funny. She gets into trouble. She has such a really sweet, cute, playful relationship with her father. Yeah, and she doesn't do everything right, which is, a nice change from Nancy Drew. This one is The Country Child by Alison Utley. Another one that every time I notice it on my shelf, I want to reread it. It's so good. The Boxcar Children, The Lighthouse Mystery. I read a few of these when I was a child, so when I saw this in one of our local little libraries, I was like, maybe I should read that. I haven't read it yet. So I should, though. But I think it's just way too young. And I think, some books are best left in childhood and don't age well because they're not good books. But I shouldn't say that about this one. I just don't know yet. Little House in the Big Woods by Laura Ingalls Wilder. There we go. And These Happy Golden Years. I love the gingham on these ones. Okay, we're on the next shelf. This shelf and the one down are almost exclusively Lucy Maud Montgomery books. I should definitely do like one book at a time, show you all of them type of deal with these. I'm just going to show you one from each series because otherwise we're going to be here all day long. And I'm afraid because I'm keep moving the camera that it's like a little unsteady. So we don't want to make this video too long. Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. If you've been here for like 5 minutes on my channel, you know how much I love Lucy Maud Montgomery. And Anne of Green Gables is the first book of hers that I read, and I loved it so much. So 2 of the books from this series were, this one and another one, were given to me by Leslie, who is Readerly Joy on Instagram. I posted about Anne's House of Dreams. I had seen these books on her Instagram, and I was like, oh my goodness, those are gorgeous. They are illustrated by Jackie Oakley, and I just love her artwork so much. They're gorgeous. So Leslie sent me Anne of Green Gables and Anne of the Island, and my friend Gina, who, as soon as she hears that I, am interested in books that I cannot readily find here, she ordered Anne of Avonlea, Anne of Windy Poplars, and Anne of Ingleside for me. So like 2 friends who heard I was like interested in these covers, and that was all they needed to know. It's you have to be careful what you say. I'm just joking. I'm like so grateful, like beyond grateful. If I had, Instagram has been like such a great way to meet like-minded people, like, bookish people. And it just wasn't what I was expecting. Like I didn't expect to like make actual friends there. Which is, the power of social media when it's, positive. It can actually be like a really good place. Like it can actually be a place to meet people that you have real connections with and form real friendships with, not just like, superficially online. Yeah, it's just lovely. Okay, and I showed these in my first video. This is the box set that started it all. A family friend gifted me these at a slumber party she had for her daughter. We each of us girls were given a box set. And yeah, I've loved Lucy Maud Montgomery ever since. I'm going to just show you one of these because I don't want to pull out every single book. We'll be here forever. This is one that Gina sent me recently because she's an incredible person. So these are my childhood books. I had these ones and then these ones in the Anne of Green Gables series. And then I had this other edition of Anne's House of Dreams. So it wasn't a matching set. And I had always wanted the matching set, but because we already had the book at home, I didn't ask for it. Like, I don't think my parents would have got it for me. They would have been like, you have the book already to read. I don't think they would have understood the matching set thing. But now I have the matching set, and it's like all of my childhood dreams have come true because they're all the same. I just love it. I'm so grateful. And then we've got Magic for Marigolds, Pad of Silverbush, A Tangled Web, sorry about the glare, Chronicles of Avonlea, The Story Girl, The Golden Road, The Blue Castle, The Golden Road, Kilmeny of the Orchard, or Kilmeny of the Orchard. I'm not sure how you pronounce that name. And then these are just some, like I said, that was my childhood edition of Anne's House of Dreams. And then a couple of other editions of the Anne series that I just found in secondhand bookstores and couldn't help myself. And then Mistress Pat, which is the sequel to Pat of Silverbush. Okay, next shelf. This is a copy of Victoria magazine, which is on this shelf because it's with thoughts of Ellen Montgomery's Anne of Green Gables, while away the hours with us along shores of Prince Edward Island. Obviously, that's why it's here. This beautiful book, I'm going to have to show at another time, the inside of it, but this was given to me by Gina, of course. She gave it to me while we were on the island, and I am so excited to read it and enjoy it. It's illustrated inside, and I'm going to have to show that another day. And then we've got Anne of the Island and Tales of Avonlea. And that's like, can just see which titles are included there. Anne of the Island, Chronicles of Avonlea, and Further Chronicles of Avonlea. And then here is another of the same type of cover. So there's this one. And this one. So they're like the TV adaptation editions. And so this one has The Story Girl, The Golden Road, and Kilmeny of the Orchard. And then this is Looking for Anne of Green Gables by Irene Gamble. This I reviewed recently. I read it. I finished it in October, so it's in my October reading wrap-up video. I loved this book so much. It was so good. I read it on most of it on the drive home from Prince Edward Island. And yeah, it's just such a smart book. And there's illustrations inside, like photos. Yeah, it was a really, really enjoyable nonfiction book and very easily accessible. Irene Gamble is an academic, and she writes very, very clearly and concisely. Yeah, I can't recommend that book enough if you're a diehard Anne of Green Gables, Lucy Maud Montgomery fan. And then this is the first volume of the Selected Journals of Ellen Montgomery. I haven't read this yet. I picked this up at the site of Lucy Maud Montgomery's Cavendish home. And I'm really looking forward to reading this. I will treat myself with the second volume once this is read. And this is Further Chronicles of Avonlea. This is a little Anne of Green Gables diary with a lock, which my husband bought me at the Bookmark, which is a bookstore in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. It was not very expensive, but he was like, you have to get it. Because it says Anne of Green Gables on it, and it's, Anne of Green Gables related. And I felt like a child buying it. He keeps asking me, what are you going to write in it? What are you going to put in it? And I keep telling him secrets. That's going to be where my secrets are kept. And there's 2 keys. And he keeps telling me, hey, I want a key. And next is Anne of Green Gables. This is an edition that I got on Prince Edward Island by the Kindred Spirits. I'm getting that wrong. Kindred Spirits Publishing Company, anyway. And it's owned and operated by one of Lucy Maud Montgomery's relatives. And then this is another copy of Anne of Green Gables. that was gifted to me by Gina. So was this one. We're gonna have to go through them another day. This, oh gosh, I have to tell you about this one. Anne of Green Gables is illustrated by Aisha L. Rubio, and it is the most recent edition that I reread from. Oops. It's the most recent edition that I reread Anne of Green Gables from, and it's got like illustrations throughout. So like the chapter headings have a seasonal illustration of branches. So like when it's winter, there's snow on the branches, and just a sample of the illustrations. I have never read an illustrated version of Anne of Green Gables, and this isn't abridged, like it's the full book. And it was the next best thing to reading it again for the first time. I just had such a lot of enjoyment out of it. And it's not an expensive book. Like it's, just a very affordable paperback copy, and it like really changed my reading experience. I reread this one multiple times. So reading from anything else feels like a completely different experience. And then there's this one, another one that I got while I was on Prince Edward Island. And there's The Story Girl, an Anne of Green Gables, another one that I got when I was on the island. I will show you the first volume of Emily of New Moon. And this is the Puffin in Bloom edition of Anne of Green Gables, and a little book vase, which really does need some flowers in it. And then next door, I've got, oh, that's indecent, a childhood doll, which I loved because she has red hair and pigtails, so I thought Anne of Green Gables. I wasn't really into dolls, but I liked this dolly. And then I've got some Beatrix Potter, Tale of Miss Tiggywinkle, Tale of Little Pig Robinson, The Tale of Pigling Bland, Tale of Timmy Tiptoes, The Tale of Miss Tittlemouse, The Tale of the Flopsy Bunnies, and then this is The Wild Wood and Mole's Christmas, and it's like a little tiny illustrated book. I will pull that out in just a second. And then I've got Classic Dog Stories, which is a Macmillan Collector's Edition book, which has no business being here. So it's all illustrated throughout. I'm just going to show you the back, the end papers. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, it's really sweet. There are 4 more books in this series, but this is the only one that I have. And also, of course, gift from my friend Gina. And I didn't show this one. This one was sitting on top of my Beatrix Potter books. It's called A Smile Says a Lot, and it's just got a bunch of illustrations inside, and a little bit of text, and it's so sweet. And it's by the Sunbeam Library. Perhaps I should explain what's going on here. I've got a birthday card from my friend Gina and a postcard here. And then I've got a gift bag and a coffee cup from our time on Panmure Head Lighthouse. We just had such a lovely day there and I really loved the stamp on the coffee cup. So I rinsed it out and put it on my shelf. I'm not crazy about having things on my bookshelves. I'm less like precious about it when it's the children's bookshelf. But yeah, I don't know if it's going to live there forever, but it's making me happy now, making me remember our trip. And this, which you can't really see, let's move that, is a beautiful little notebook from my friend Leslie that I mentioned before. She sent it with those 2 copies of the Anne of Green Gables and Anne of the Island books. And I haven't written in it yet because it's so pretty that I want to like get it right, you know? Okay, now got 2 shelves left. So the Treasury of Fairy Stories is actually, I just pulled this one out. The Treasury of Fairy Stories, retold by Janet Barber. I showed this one in my first video too. It's just, you know, completely beat up. But I loved being read from this when I was a child. As you can see, I've checked off what I've read. I must have stopped at some point, realized that the pen wasn't going to come out. But yeah, I just love this book so much. I think that like when you're a child, like the books you read and were read as a child, you know, they become part of you. And I just, yeah, I feel like I know this book intimately. Next up are some Care Bears books, which are hilarious and so cute, but I don't think anyone else is going to be interested. This is actually really sweet. Care Bears Garden. And these were put out by Random House, but through, yeah, I think it's just Random House because it's the American Greetings Corporation that actually owns the licensing for Care Bears. But yeah, these are just so sweet. Then next we've got The Clue in Blue, The Riddle in Red, Puzzle in Purple by Betsy Allen. This is the Connie Blair mystery series. I actually talked about this in a recent video, probably, yeah, like yesterday's video. These are beautiful. Just get a glance at one of them. I haven't read them yet. They were a gift from my friend Gina. And then I've got a bunch of Trixie Beldens. These, I love Trixie Belden. They're perhaps the creepier editions. I think the paperback ones are nicer, to be honest, but I came across a bunch of these at a secondhand bookstore and I couldn't resist. There were so many of them. I think there was like 5 or 6. So I snapped them up and then it's been like, well, I have to collect the others as I see them. So my friend Mary has given me a couple of these. And yes, I do have doubles. The Mystery Off Glen Road. I've got 2. And this one is The Red Trailer Mystery without a spine. Whoops. These are really cute. Swiss Family Robinson on one side and Robinson Crusoe on the other. Next, we've got The Great Gale and In Spite of All Terror by Hester Burton. I love both of these so much. This is another one set around a flood. I'm obsessed. And this one is set it starts on September 1st, 1939, when, of course, all of the children are vacating London to safety in the countryside at the start of the Second World War. And this is such a powerful book and such a powerful like coming of age story. Yeah, loved this book so much. And then I've got a couple of Enid Blytons here. 3 Cheers, Secret 7, and Secret 7 Fireworks. Just show you. And I love this. I love that cover. And then I've got a Monica Dickens, The Great Fire. Oops. I've had this one since I was a child. To Dance to Dream by Maxine Drury. I loved this cover so much when I was a kid. Obviously, it's been so well loved. And this was put out by, I should get a replacement at some point if I see one. Not that I will ever get rid of this copy, you know, just to have 2 one that's nice, one that's nice, and one that's loved. This is by the Whitman Publishing Company. Neil Gaiman, Coraline. I love the Coraline film. I'm obsessed with it. Robin Kane, The Mystery of the Phantom by Eileen Hill. This is a really lovely cover. I can't say I liked the book very much, and I have like almost gotten rid of it so many times because I don't see myself rereading it, but I also love the cover. The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Oops. I love this edition. I think it's so pretty. And then we've got The Wind in the Willows in this really lovely copy. So it's illustrated throughout. But I'll just flip through. I love that. Okay, next we've got the Tales of the Willows series. The Willows at Christmas, The Willows in Winter, Toad Triumphant, and The Willows and Beyond. I love these books. Shockingly, The Willows at Christmas is not my favorite. I mean, it's great. I'm not gonna lie. But the series is so good, and like William Horwood really captures Kenneth Graham's writing. Like, he's got the characters down. I would not have known that they were written by someone else. They're just so fabulous. So if you like The Wind in the Willows, I cannot recommend these enough, like not enough. And then on the side here, I've got this little magazine from my friend Gina. Christmas at Mole End, the storybook home. If I remember, I'll try to remember to include their website in the description box, because I think this is a really sweet magazine. Like, it's got a bunch of like crafts and things that related to The Wind in the Willows, and I think it's really well put together. Yeah, like, I mean, I'd love to make those. Isn't that sweet? Okay, last shelf. Okay, so I've got the Bobbsey twins. There are a number of titles here. Bobbsey Twins Adventure in the Country, The Secret at the Seashore, The Mystery at Cherry Corners, Forest Adventure, and the Bobbsey Twins in the Mystery Cave. Just let you see that one. And those are written by Laura Lee Hope. I can't remember if that's a pseudonym or not. And then the next we've got The Far Distant Oxus by Catherine Hull and Pamela Whitlock, with an introduction by Arthur Ransom. And that's another series that I would love to complete one day, but they are hard to find, and when I do find them, it's a little pricey. And this was sent to me by Pony Books, who I mentioned before, Liz on Instagram. Mystery in Old Quebec by Mary C. Jane. Of course, I live in Canada. She sent it to me because of that. When she came across it, I am so appreciative. It's got such a great cover. And Biggles of the Camel Squadron by Captain W.E. Johns. I'm laughing because Clark is right here. Did you just decide to get up? Hi, what's up? Okay, he needs something. Just give me a moment. Okay, where were we? The next one is Mary Jane in England by Clara Ingram Judson. We've got Greensleeves by Eloise Jarvis McGraw. Isn't that such a beautiful cover? And I have to show you because it's signed for Beth with my best regards, Eloise Jarvis McGraw, 1979. And then next we've got The Snowstorm by Beryl Netherclift. I adore this book. If you like a time slip novel and a snowstorm, of course, given the title, the snowstorm actually refers to a snow globe. I just love this book so much. I've been looking for a copy for ages. Gina didn't know that I was looking for it, and she happened to gift it to me. She saw it and thought of me. Yeah, she's like the book whisperer. This is another one from her, Two Jones at the Abbey. These are the Abbey Girl books by Elsie J. Oxenham. This is the only one in the series that I've read, and I had no problem picking it up. And this is like one of the later books. I didn't feel like I was, at sea or anything. It was so good. And then Winter Holiday by Arthur Ransom. If you love a snowy book and an adventure story, this is so good. I need to read more of these. I need to read all of the books in the series. Why do I not have them all on my shelf? I read this. I actually read this in the summer. I bought it thinking I would save it, and then I just kind of dipped in and couldn't put it down. The next one is Susan's Helping Hand by Jane Shaw. These are the Susan books. And then this one is Susan Rushes In. I really should collect the rest of the books in this series because they are so fun. I love Jane Shaw's writing. She's so fun. I said that. But yeah, she's fun. Her characters are fun. I always have a great time when I'm reading them. And I picked these both up from a library book sale. I had never heard of Jane Shaw. I just liked the covers. And I only read them a few years ago, and I was just like, oh, these are great. Where can I get more of them? And of course, Girls Gone By have republished some of her titles, which is fabulous. It's making it easier to, get the ones that are harder to find. And then Ballet Shoes by Noel Stretfield. This was a book I believe I shared in my first video as well. It doesn't have a dust wrapper, but my mom found it at a library book sale, and it is my first book buying memory. Yeah, it was a really meaningful moment with my mother. Yeah, and I cherish that book. I should definitely get myself an attractive copy because I know that book inside out. I've read it so many times when I was a child that I didn't read it for years, and I read it not that long ago, and I was shocked at how much I remembered of it. It was like I could almost say it out loud from memory. Then I've got two of the Menems books, Menems in the Wilderness and Menems Under Siege by Sylvia Waugh. And I don't have the first book, but I have read it. And this is a series about a family unlike other families. It's really good. I was shocked at how much I liked the first book, and then that's why I started collecting them. I believe there's 5 books in the series, so I need 3 more. The next is Daddy Longlegs by Jean Webster. Oops. This beautiful edition. And then I've got some Cherry Ames books, Student Nurse, Senior Nurse, Army Nurse, and Chief Nurse. And then I've got The Happy Hollisters. This was given to me. Oh, I should have mentioned the Bobbsey twins books were also gifted to me from my friend Mary. Happy Hollisters. I haven't read this yet. I'm really excited to. Okay, and then these are my graphic novels. We've got Fun Home by Alison Bechdel. We've got Mouse 1 and 2 by, I can't remember his first name, by Art Spiegelman. Trillium by Jeff Lemire, Watchmen by Alan Moore and illustrated by Dave Gibbons, Winter World, and this is the first one in a series, Whiteout by Greg Rucka. I really love this series, and illustrated by Steve Lieber. Could be Lieber. I can't remember. It's been a while since I read that. And then the Queen and Country series. This is also by Greg Rucka, and yeah, it's just such great fun. If you like spy stories and women who are absolute disasters, you might like those books. I just think they were great fun. I haven't read them in years, but I should give them another go, see if I still like them. And then we're over here at the book cart. I'm just gonna show you a couple of these. It's The Famous Five by Enid Blyton, 5 on a Treasure Island, and here's another one, 5 Fall into Adventure. They're great fun. They're really great fun. And guess what? They're from my friend Gina. Yep, she saw them at a Savers and was like, do you want these? Oh, I can go back for them. And I was like, well, I couldn't say no because I did want them. So yes, I have the best collection of those. And then over here, I'm going to save the Nancy Drews for another day, and the books by Mildred A. Wirt Benson, because they relate, obviously, because Mildred A. Wirt Benson was one of the ghostwriters of Nancy Drew. But I'm going to show you these. This is the Patty Fairfield series. All of the book covers are the same. They all look like this. And this is silvery. Of course, it's got this the plastic coating on the outside, right? Like the protective cover. But it's actually really shiny. Almost it's almost like she comes off the book. It's very interesting in person. So there's a bunch of books in this series, and I think there's 17 of them. I have only read the first one so far, but I'm excited to read more. And they start when Patty is young, and she doesn't have a mother. She does have a dad, and he basically sends her away to grow up. And so in the first one, she spends a year away. And yeah, in the series, she grows up she at I think the last book, she has a child. So it's an interesting children's series because usually, children remain ageless. They don't grow up in the series, so that's cool. And this is a birthday card from my husband. It's actually, he gave it to me with those books. And couple of copies of The Scribbler. Do you want to sit up here? And that, my friends, is it. That is all the children's books in my collection, minus the Nancy Drew books, which are on this shelf right next to me, and the Girls Gone By books, both of which I hope to share in another video. But yes, thank you so much for being here. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. And if you could give it a like, that would be so lovely. And comment down below if there's any books in my collection that you saw that struck a chord with you, that you've read as a child or that you've read recently. I'd love to know which ones you loved. And that'll help me when I'm trying to pick what book to read next. Thanks again for being here. Until next time, goodbye.